They have parted ways with 7-time Pro Bowl safety Earl Thomas after he punched teammate Chuck Clark in Friday's practice. Baltimore is expected to try to void Thomas's $10 million guaranteed salary this season for conduct detrimental to the team. Here's my football squad on this early morning. Dan Graziano, Tim Hasselbeck, and Mike T, our general manager, is here. But Dan, I'll start with you. Before we look back, let's look forward. What are we hearing about a possible next destination for Earl Thomas?
Yeah, Greeny, everybody wants to jump to the conclusion that it'll be the Cowboys. They've been sort of eyeing each other across the dance floor for a number of years, Earl Thomas and the Cowboys. I wouldn't be so quick to jump there. Obviously, it's possible. They have a need. They've liked the player in the past. We know Jerry Jones likes the big names. But everything I'm hearing indicates that there's at least some caution being exercised by Dallas and other teams based on the way it ended for Earl Thomas in Baltimore. So look for what kind of deal it is. I think Dallas could do it if it's a low-cost, incentive-laden deal that brings him in. But if there's competition for his services, if teams like the 49ers or the Texans or, the Patriots are always in this stuff, if the price gets low enough, it might not be as simple as connecting Earl Thomas to Dallas the way people have for the last couple of years.
That would be an interesting one for sure. But as we look at this thing, Mike T, a lot of people will look at Earl Thomas. They'll think about the reputation. And they'll think, oh, what an acquisition that would be for the Dallas Cowboys. But you were telling me about a rule that you have had around the sport for a long time this morning that clearly applies here.
Yes, Greeny, he's not the same player. He's over 30, and he's going to be on his third team in 3 years. I made that mistake in Miami. Jay Cutler's a great example of that, and there's countless other examples over the years. Think about John Lynch when he went to New England. Oftentimes, teams were paying for a brand name of what they were, not what they're going to be. So be very cautious with Earl Thomas. Not the same player, third team in 3 years, and over 30 years old. Buyer beware.
Yeah, interesting. Tim Hasselbeck, what do you think?
Well, I agree with Mike T. Listen, Earl Thomas's game has been based a lot on speed, which he had a ton of early in his career. He doesn't run the same. And then there have been a lot of things swirling around Earl Thomas since he left Seattle, kind of unceremoniously with the way it ended there in terms of how he handled things with Pete Carroll. Jamison Hensley, by the way, if people are interested, who writes for us at ESPN.com and covers the Ravens, has a pretty good timeline of things that have transpired since that point of leaving Seattle. Everything from confrontations with guys in the locker room to, skipping team flights to the situation with his wife this offseason. There's a lot surrounding Earl Thomas. I don't think it's just strictly about play. It's now about declining play in a guy that has had all kinds of issues over the last couple of years. I think that's why, and I think Dan alluded to this, that's why people are going to be really cautious, and it's not going to be on Earl Thomas's terms. It's going to have to be on the team's terms.
I think that's right. I read that this morning as well, and I agree with you. There's a lot in there. Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.